If you're considering making the switch to an electric vehicle, maybe this week's announcement piqued your interest, with 7 major automakers saying they're on board to build a charging network in North America. Our tech expert Avery Swartz is once again, she's ahead of the trend, hitting the open road behind the wheel of not 1, not 2, but 3 different EVs, electric vehicles, of course, to get a feel for how they drive. And guess what? She's joining us. She drove right in studio this morning, and here she is. I'm going to hop in the vehicle. Is that okay?
Yeah, come on.
Can I just
join?
I'm coming on in because we're going to have this convo. Let me just move some things.
Would you like to be in the driver's seat?
I always want to be in the driver's seat. I even brought my own steering wheel.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. Okay, so here we are in our car. Hey, good to see you, by the way. Eyes on the road. You test drove 3 electric vehicles. Which ones did you test drive?
Okay, so I took out the Kia EV6 and the Ford Mustang Mach-E. And with those ones, I did a lot of in-town driving and running errands. And then I took out a Cadillac Lyriq for a week, and I took it on a road trip north of the city.
Because that's my big question, right?
Yes, when you were outside of the city.
Okay, so let's talk about charging. It's the #1 thing people want to talk about when it comes to EVs. What do we need to know about battery temperature, something I haven't talked about?
Yeah, this is something that a lot of people might not know about EVs. And, there I am driving some of those vehicles there that you can see. So batteries have optimal temperatures. If you're in a heat wave, like a lot of Canada is right now, or in the winter, you're going to be outside the optimal temperature of the battery, and you're not going to get to drive as far on that charge. So that's an important thing to know about EVs and batteries. Also, speaking of charging, the ideal range for a battery is around 30 to 80%. That's for the longevity and the health of the battery. We don't really want to charge all the way to 100. When I was demoing a bunch of EVs, I was charging at a whole bunch of different places, and I found the cost varied widely.
Okay.
The cheapest one I could find was an overnight charge that cost me $3 for the entire charge.
Really?
Yeah, it was
$3?
a deal. $3.
Oh, but how far can you get on the charge?
That was about 300 to 400 kilometers for $3. And then the most expensive one I found was about $30, and it was on a roadside charger that was going to be really fast, but it was expensive. Because that's the other thing. When you're charging, there I am. That was the $3 one right there, the little fast one, or the slow one overnight. Because the charging stations can all give your car juice at different speeds. They tend to be more expensive the faster the charge is.
I forgot to drive. Oh, so, and with companies coming out with EVs, we obviously have to talk about price as well.
Sure.
Because, I personally, our family's looking for one, and we need 3 rows of seats.
Yes.
Right? And there's not a lot of options out there right now. I am eyeballing the EV9.
Yes.
So that's on our radar, which is the Kia.
Yep.
And also the Rivian is another one that we're looking at.
Yeah, those are really exciting.
But the price we're trying to figure out what the right sort of range is for us.
Yes.
So what are you seeing in terms of range?
So in terms of price, it's market economy here. So as more and more options come onto the market, as more people buy EVs, as the charging infrastructure for EVs improves, then you're going to see even more coming into the marketplace, and that's going to lower the cost of all of them because they need to be competitive.
Right.
I'm not seeing any, massive shift towards, really, really cheap EVs coming super soon, but also the used market is heating up as they're starting to become, more and more are coming, more people are starting to offload them off of leases or things like that. Then you may be able to get a secondhand one.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Okay, I want to go back to something you mentioned, because you were driving in the city, but you also took it more toward country.
Yeah.
So my other big concern is that I'm not going to find the charging station I need if I need to drive to the cottage.
Yes. So let's talk about where you actually charge.
Yes.
So if you have charging infrastructure at your home, at the house, at the cottage, at the condo, then you're going to be able to have the most efficient charging. It's convenient. But here, this was when I was at a cottage. I literally plugged the car in just to an outlet at the cottage. And it was fine. It was doing what's called a trickle charge, meaning that I wasn't getting a super fast charge, but that was enough to get me a bit of a charge to then, I'd go out, I'd go grocery shopping, I'd plug the car in. This is one of those en route stations in Ontario when I was charging on the side of a road. We only charged for 30 minutes at this particular station. While the kids went in, everybody went to the bathroom, got some coffees and a hamburger. By the time we came back out to the car, it was at 89%. And
how much was that charge then? Do you remember?
That charge was $7.
Really?
Yeah, it's really economical.
Were you stuck in traffic at all?
Well, yeah, but EVs have nothing to do with traffic.
No, but I'm worried about the fact that, you're in traffic. Sometimes it takes me 5 hours to get to the cottage, and then all of a sudden you're like...
You're starting to run down, and you've got that sense of range anxiety.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about that. And Probably the best tip I have for you is to use an app. You know, this is me, of course. I have a tech solution
but
for
I like
this.
that.
But there's an app and also a website called PlugShare. It's crowdsourcing for EV chargers. So it shows you a map, it shows where all the chargers are, and then people leave comments and photos and information about their experience at that charger. People will say, this one gave me a really fast charge, or this one was actually broken. Don't bother stopping here. So EV owners love to use that app. And also know that you don't have to charge right to 100% all the time.
Oh, that's a good point.
You can add, 15%, go on to the next stop. Then you're going grocery shopping, charge for 45 minutes while you shop, then go on to the next stop.
We're turning.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ready? Just hold on, buckle up. I'm gonna turn some tunes on. Okay, let's crank the tunes, and we're gonna go to commercial break. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back. Ready?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.